we will start with public comment with the same rules as before. Anyone wish to make a public comment before we start the curriculum committee? Nope. Then we will move on to the items for discussion, the first of which is the Governor's Institute grant proposal. I believe that is Mrs. DiPaolo.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Scheid, do you want me to pass these out now or afterwards?
I can give it. Okay. Mrs. DiPaolo, I can give it to the board members afterwards.
Fantastic.
Mrs. DiPaolo has some extra information that she wanted to share, and I told her if she made those prints that I would hand them out to her when she was finished.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come this year again to share our goals with regards to the P3 initiative. For those of you that don't know, I am Mia DiPaolo. I'm the principal here, not here, at Bedminster Elementary School. This year, we were invited and accepted to attend the Governor's P3 Institute, meaning prenatal through grade 3. This year, our team was comprised of Bedminster first grade teacher Lori Peterson, our instructional support teacher, Mrs. Christine Swanson, Mrs. Allison Wilson, the director of Kitty Academy in Plumsteadville, and Mrs. Peg Quartz, who is a community-based psychologist, and myself, of course, I'm sorry. This year, when we went to the Governor's Academy, we had a better understanding of what they were going to be looking for and what the expectations were for us. So there were 4 main areas of focus that we, as a committee, a team, focused on. We focused on connecting the child to the school, connecting the family to the school, connecting the school to the school, and connecting the community to the school. So what I just wanted to do was go through each of those 4 areas and tell you some of our initiatives that have either happened in the past or are going to happen. This is our 2nd year with this initiative. Last year, the grant that we applied for was for $4,000. This year, if we are approved, we will be bringing $6,000 to the district. So with regards to connecting the child to the school, we did this spring, or summer, August, all my months are running together, we did a kindergarten picnic for our students, incoming kindergarten students, that helped familiarize these students with Bedminster prior to the start of school. We do, all of our elementary schools do this, we do a student meet and greet, which allows students and parents to familiarize themselves with the teacher and the specific teacher and the classroom prior to the start of the school year. Connecting the family to school, we held all the elementary schools, we hold our open house in August before the start of the new school year. Something specific to the P3 team, we held parent hands-on workshops incorporating school-based strategies for parents to use at home with our preschool students. Last year, we originally started the grant with doing them at Bedminster, and we realized we didn't have such a good turnout, so we basically took our show on the road and started going to our local preschools and presenting at the local preschools. We would do a presentation for the parents, and we would also have an opportunity to meet our incoming students. We provided parents with a brochure at these events, giving them step-by-step directions on how to implement some of these strategies at home. This year, something new, we are doing a beginning of the year, we are having good phone calls home. So within the first 45 days, our kindergarten team and some of our older grade teams are making contact with all of their parents, with all of the families. We use an online program, Ready Freddy, which is a free program based out of the University of Pittsburgh, and this provides parents with a daily calendar for them to use with the students, activities that they can do, and other wonderful resources. We are hoping to add a parent orientation this year for all incoming students, all incoming kindergarten students, that would take place prior to the opening of registration. Connecting school to school, we are having what we're calling a chat and chew, gathering of the staff from the preschools, meeting with our Bedminster staff to share ideas, curriculum, and best practices. In addition, the grant will allow us to provide visitation for cross-grade level collaboration, like vertical collaboration, between the preschool staff, our kindergarten staff, vice versa, and then the kindergarten staff at the preschools with our first grade teacher, and vice versa. We had a move-up day last year where all of our preschool students came from our partners, I should clarify, to spend a full day at the quote-unquote big school. And I have to tell you, one of our preschool directors said to me, I feel like our kids have always been prepared academically, but socially she really felt that the anxiety level that they usually are experiencing, she said it's the first time in all the years I've been the director that I really feel that our kids from that experience and our Skype visits they're really prepared to come to you. Connecting school to school, we are doing virtual tour that was created. It's on our website now that you can take a minute and look at that whenever you get a chance. It was created by our 5th grade leadership students under the direction of Mrs. Christine Swanson. It made us think that now we are working on creating a more generic one, so all of our students new to Bedminster can go on to the website and see what it looks like inside the building, meet some of the familiar faces that are there. We do regular Skype visits with the local preschools. Last year, the afternoon kindergarten class worked with the preschool class at Deep Run East, and they actually learned a little bit of Spanish. We created Ready for Kindergarten brochures for parents, and we're working on creating a theme that all 7 elementary schools would use, and this would allow us to put posters in the community announcing events. We, as a P3 team, will be attending community events like Dublin Day, and Kitty Academy has a spring fling, so those of us at Bedminster will go, so our Kitty Academy students will recognize who we are and get to meet us. And we're going to make a connection with our local libraries. Last year, Dr. Yarnell had asked me for some data, and that is what I prepared today. And I apologize, I would have sent all this information to you and the PowerPoint presentation that looked nice like Mrs. Miller's. However, there are some direct links in there with students, and we had to verify that that could be set out like that. So, Dr. Yarnell, the numbers this year, when you put them on paper, you really don't realize. I was just sharing with Dr. Scheid. These are our first grade numbers. So 29% of our current first grade students came from out of district kindergarten placements. Of these students, 26% of them, I think that was the number you were looking for last year, 26% of them attended full day programs. So our current first grade students attended 16 different kindergarten programs last year, which makes our job very difficult trying to reach all of these kindergartens, all of the preschools. Now for our current kindergarten class, 16% of our kindergarten students attended Deep Run East Presbyterian preschool, 14% attended Deep Run Presbyterian School, 7% attended Kitty Academy in Plumsteadville. So we've had partnership with Deep Run East, and we will continue to maintain that partnership. This year, Kitty Academy in Plumsteadville, that is who our new partners were. And hopefully Deep Run East, the timing was, the timing of the Governor's Academy is when they were opening their summer programs. So that's why they couldn't join us. Otherwise, they would have been with us too. So that means 63% of the remaining kindergarten, our remaining kindergarten students attended other preschools. So for this year, our current kindergarten students, we have, I have 2.5 classes, 2 p.m. and 1 a.m. that we fed, or 23 different preschools fed to our current kindergarten students. So that's a lot of different programs, and we're just a small team, so we're really trying hard to get to everybody and reach everybody, and we're trying to figure out the most efficient way to do that. I wanted to share the very exciting news. I shared about the $6,000. Hopefully we will hear soon if our grant proposal has been accepted. But our P3 team has been asked to present at the United Way in Allentown, sharing a lot of the strategies that we've done in the past year. And in addition, we've been asked to present at Penn State during the Early Childhood Education Summit, which is occurring in October of this year. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much, and thank you for following up with the question about the percentages and the distribution. I certainly appreciate your remembering that.
Sure.
Any comments or questions from board members? Or Mrs. DiPaolo?
Question,
Mrs. Mansfield?
So I think you had mentioned before that your plan is to expand this over time. So what are you planning going forward? And when you were looking at those numbers, are there some of the other schools that really stood out to you as, wow, they have a lot of our kids, maybe that's what I'm going to focus on next? Or
You will see in the data that I prepared the actual breakdown no, it actually says just other schools. We have the 2 largest schools are Deep Run East, Deep Run Press, and then next in line would be Kitty Academy for the preschools. So that's why we have them broken down. And then you will see all of the other schools, and then in parentheses we put full day, so you'll know if that school offers a full day, and that was the reason why the child went there. As far as, yes, district-wide, our hope is to expand this to other elementary schools. One of the reasons, because it's a fantastic initiative, but 2, because I only have 2.5 kindergarten classes, and they just can't Skype all day long, so the lessons are written, and we made such wonderful connections, but I'd like all of our kids in preschool to have this opportunity, and we can't do it with just 2.5 classes. So I've reached out to some other kindergarten teachers in the district, and principals, of course, and they're very interested, and we're just waiting to hear back from PDE to determine if we have been accepted, and if that is the case, then we will include them in things like our chat and choose, and those opportunities for them to get involved. Sure.
Mrs. DiPaolo, I just want to publicly thank you again. I'm so proud of you and your team. This is such an incredibly important initiative, and the love that you and your staff has shown with these little children, and that willingness to make those early connections is so crucial. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Scheid, you want me to just leave them right here?
Will you leave those there?
Yeah.
Right on the podium, and I will make sure that the school board members receive each one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you again. Good luck with the grant. Hopefully the state budget won't confound that issue. The next item is the Summer Band and String. Mrs. Werner.
Good evening. This summer we had another successful round of instrumental camps. Our summer string camp in its 5th year and our band camp in its 2nd. The enrollment for the camps remained steady compared to other years, and we had a mix of new and returning students. What I really love about these camps is it gives our students the opportunity to continue to foster that joy of learning an instrument. And for any young musician, one of the most exciting things is having that new piece of music. So when our students attend these camps, we know that they walk away having learned 3 to 4 new pieces of music and reinforce their playing skills, plus learned 1 or 2 new techniques that they hadn't known before. as well as made connections and friendships with other students from across the district. I wanted to share a highlight from each of the camps. For the string camp, one of the things that came to my mind is I had 3 middle school students who volunteered to mentor the elementary camp. And I just thought that was so neat, that they were willing to give their time and put in extra work, and just their willingness to want to help other students and be supportive in that way. For the band camp, one of the notable things I heard was we had a new student move into the district, and this student was able to attend the camp and meet their band teacher and make some friends before the start of school. So I thought, what a great thing for that child in a new building to be able to walk in that first day and know I know somebody and I have someone to eat lunch with. So I thought that was just a really great outcome of the camp. I understand that you have been emailed a video compilation I put together of the elementary string camp. Or if you don't have that, that will be in your inbox soon. When you have a free 2 minutes and 38 seconds, I encourage you to watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it. It kind of speaks to the heart of the experience. And just what a positive thing the camp is. So that's all I have for you this evening, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
This is the second year for your band camp. Are there any changes that you would propose at this point, considering that you now have 2 summers of experience under your belt?
I haven't heard any suggestions yet from the staff that did the band camp. I'm not personally involved in that as a strings teacher. I know that there is talk potentially of maybe looking in the future to expanding the grade level offerings. With a band ensemble, there are more varieties of instruments, and so sometimes it's better to kind of limit the grade levels to really focus in on one ensemble than trying to piece together a full ensemble for 2 groups. So I think, over time, that's something we'll be open to review. And I know there's definitely, the parents, the feedback is always so positive. I think, if we were able to do it, that might be a great thing to offer. But it's still pretty young.
Thank you. Mrs. Cullen?
I was trying to do the math. Was it $75 per student?
For the tuition, yes.
And what was the time? Monday through Thursday?
Sure, so they operate a little differently. The strings camp is for each group, there are 2 groups, and they each meet for an hour and 15 minutes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, because it's the performance day, everybody reports at 9 o'clock, and there's an 11 o'clock performance. The band camp is structured slightly differently. It's for an hour and a half every day. And I would have to check on the report time, but I think they do a 10 o'clock concert on their last day.
Well, for $75, I mean, that's a really outstanding value that you presented to the students, so I appreciate that. Especially not that any of my children will do band, but, when you have even one child to have a value like that they can take advantage of, that's great, so thank you.
Thank you. I think just being able to provide an ensemble experience for these students over that period of time is a great thing. So I'm glad that it's appreciated.
Is there a question? Yes. Dr. Joan, where does the surplus money, remind us again where that goes, into what account? The general fund that goes back in? Okay.
Basically, almost all surplus funds. But
We'll go back. I didn't know if we had like a line item that we would put this back in for next year.
Anyone else? No, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the third item is Camp Invention. Mrs. Kulesza.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. So this is our 3rd summer where we ran Camp Invention, and it was another successful year. Both weeks were very well attended, and we've gone from our first year enrollment of 149 students to 164 students that registered last year. And that camp, again, is for students who are entering, actually this was the first year that they opened it up to students entering kindergarten. So it served students who were entering kindergarten through 6th grade. We did make a change this year. The first 2 years we ran the camp during the 3rd and 4th weeks of July. This year we moved it to the 2nd and 3rd because of some building scheduling issues. And I noticed that our first week of camp this year had the same enrollment as our second, which is a little unusual based on the prior 2 years. And I think it may have been that it was immediately after the July 4th, and a number of families may have been away. But still, having 82 students that week certainly was a very healthy enrollment for us. Of those 82 students that attended the first week, 30 had come to the camp the prior year. So I think that's a very nice testament to the fact that they really enjoyed it. And in our second week, we had 17 returning campers. So both weeks, when you look at both of them, then we're getting a lot of positive feedback from the kids and the parents who attend that. I just wanted to highlight, as you may recall, we do run the program for 2 weeks. It's actually designed as a 1-week program, but in order to make it as open as possible to more students, especially if we have students who are away during the 1 week, we do run the second week, and the second week is last year's Camp Invention. So every year they introduce a new program, and we make that our first week, and then we have our second week as the prior year. Even though it's the second week and we've run it before, the kids come in, because it's such a free experience camp. It does have 4 modules that kids rotate, but the experience is very different. And the way the camp is set up, they group the kids by age group. So they're all doing the same activities, but obviously the students who are older will get a different experience than the kids that are younger, because they bring their prior experiences and learnings with them. So this year, our first week was called Launch, and it was very exciting. The 4 modules, one of the modules was Duct Tape Billionaire, where they create their own inventions out of duct tape. They learn a little bit about the entrepreneur, what it takes to become an entrepreneur, and then they have to present it as if they were marketing that item. Another one of the modules was Mission Space, and they had to design a habitable planet. And they rotate through all 4 of these. Another one was they were learning about engineering techniques to build a rocket. And the 4th module, so it was the whole thing was around launch, so it involved space and rockets, and the kids were absolutely thrilled by it. And the very favorite module that seems to be the best one every year is the one where if you have a child or you know a neighbor's child who comes to Camp Invention, they are collecting electronics. It's a great time for people to clean out all the electronics they don't want and can't put in the trash, because they bring them to Camp Invention and they take them apart. They look at the insides, and then they repurpose those things for other inventions that they create. So it's really fascinating to see what the kids come up with. And by far that seems to be their favorite, to really take it apart. It's so interesting to see that first day when the parents are dropping off the materials, and we've seen everything from old 8-track tape decks to actually a parent went out this year and bought a fan, because you don't have to bring something to take apart, but obviously you know how children are, they see everybody else bringing things in. So Dad ran out and bought a fan so that he could bring it in the next day. But it's really quite a fascinating experience, and the kids are very creative. And I think the fact that they learn something, but more than anything else, they're encouraged to take risks and to try things, and if they don't work, try it again. So it was very successful. Any questions? Oh, I did want to mention, this is new. We were able to offer 7 scholarships this year. There was an organization, one of the philanthropic organizations out of the Lehigh Valley, offered 4 scholarships. And then Camp Invention, because we sign on every year early, allows the district to offer a scholarship for each week of camp. So altogether, we offered 6 scholarships. So we were thrilled to be able to give that opportunity to students who otherwise would not have been able to attend.
Can you remind us what the tuition is, because it's not listed here? Yeah.
The tuition was $245 for a week, and that is Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4 o'clock. So it's a full day. The program is kind of designed to be 5 days, but because we have Fridays, our buildings are closed in the summer, we just expand the hours on the other 4 days to give them the full experience.
And then I was wondering, you have the leadership interns, and I'm just wondering why you think they decreased in the second year.
I think part of it is the week. I think moving it up a week early this year had some impact, not just because of the 4th of July, but also because kids weren't out of school that long, and perhaps some of them didn't want to commit to something so soon after ending the school year. It kind of varies from year to year. It's an application-based program, so they can't just volunteer and be accepted. They have to apply for the program, and they do have to take an online leadership course on their own time as well. And then there is a general meeting to get together, and the director will go over all of the expectations. So I mean, we're going to certainly look at that moving forward this year. And also, we had a new director this year as well, and she's primarily responsible for the organization of the camp, you know, the day-to-day running of the camp. And I think probably because this was her first year, she wasn't as experienced with the process of, she's also an elementary teacher, which makes it kind of hard to you know, get in touch with the high school students as well. But we've got great cooperation from some of the service groups, and I think with our service learning pilot program, this is a wonderful opportunity for kids to get those service learning credits as well.
Were leadership interns involved in 2015? Or no, or was 2016?
Oh, no,
the first year?
we've had leadership interns every year. Quite frankly, you can't run the camp without them,
Okay.
because we only have, we have the director, and then we have the 4 instructors who lead the modules. So the leadership interns are really critical in providing, you know, the help with hands-on things with some of the younger kids, walking them back and forth to the different modules. But this is the first year that we opened it up to the counselors in training, and those are students who are in 7th through 9th grade. The leadership intern program is only open to 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And this year we opened it up to middle school students to be counselors in training. And by all reports, they did a very nice job. So they don't get the, it's not, they do have to pay a fee to be in that program, unlike the leadership interns who are, it's a total, they're not charged a fee to participate, but the counselors in training are charged a fee by Camp Invention.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
And I want to thank you again for making this possible by allowing us to host it again. I started getting calls for Camp Invention in November. I guess people are starting to plan things out. So, you know, it's very nice to be able to say that we offer that. And I've gotten calls from parents in Central Buck School District and in other neighboring school districts because it's not offered in their districts. So thank you again for making this possible.
That sounds like a good commercial. I assume we will renew your Camp Invention again for next year.
Well, thank you.
Obviously, we'll tell you that for sure.
Thank you very much.
Next, summer theater camp. Ms. Shellenberger.
Hello, everyone. I'm here on behalf of Kim Stelino, who is the music teacher at Central, and also my daughter, Katrina Shellenberger, who is a senior dance education major at Point Park University in Pittsburgh. Neither of them were able to be here tonight. First of all, let me thank you. We had a great time at camp this summer. So thank you so much for the opportunity to start this program this year. We had 78 campers who came. They were going into 6th grade to going into 9th grade, which was a nice span of ages. And we had 7 staff members, and we also had counselors from the high school who are all students who were involved in musical theater or music programs who were delighted to come back and lend a hand. And we also could not have done the camp without their help. They were wonderful. The kids all took the same classes in the morning. They rotated through. Everyone took drama, everyone took music, everyone took dance. And then in the afternoon, we offered an elective. And so students could take beginner choreography, advanced choreography. We had 2 different tracks of drama going. One was a little more towards Shakespeare, one was general theater performance. There were 2 vocal performance individual programs, and then we also had one for set building and behind the scenes kids who prefer to do that. We packed in as much as we possibly could. We started at 9 in the morning and wrapped up at 3:30 in the afternoon. I think I said we had 78 kids, so we were hopping the whole time. Lots of energy. One of the things that was really nice about the program, not just the fact that we were able to really educationally cover a lot of material, but the age range that was there. The 5th graders who were coming to the middle school, they're nervous. They want to know what it's going to be like. So in the morning before we started, we broke the kids down into different groups each morning, and one day we put all the kids north together, and all the kids from central together, and all the kids from south together. So the older kids could say to the 5th graders, you'll be fine, this is what it's going to be like, this is what drama's like, this is what PE's like, this is what lunch is like. And that was really nice to see the older kids stepping up. Then the kids that were going to the high school, our counselors did the same thing. They sat down with them in a group and talked to them about the same kind of thing. So they could start to at least see, if they couldn't build relationships in that short amount of time, they could at least see some familiar faces and get some information that could help everybody feel more comfortable with each other. So that was really nice. We put a showcase on the last day and invited the parents to come. I don't know how many were there, but they were a very enthusiastic crowd. Dr. Scheid was able to come too. And each of those morning classes that I talked about that everyone went through, everyone demonstrated something from their learning from that week, and then also representation from the electives. It's amazing what kids can learn in just that short amount of time, and our goal was to cover as much material as we could and to have as much fun as we could. We felt like we accomplished that very much, and from the feedback that we got from the kids and from their parents, I think they did too. So our goals were met. We felt we all had a great time. We were tired at the end of the week, but we had a great time. It was well worth all the effort that went into it, and hopefully we'd love to be able to see the program come back next year as well. Any questions that you have, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mrs. Cullen.
I just want to say thank you again, another nice thing that is available.
It was our pleasure.
All of the camps that we have.
Pleasure. Anyone else? Okay.
Congratulations.
I know
You
you're.
had a very successful financial experience as well. which is
Yes.
always a good thing, right?
Yes.
I know you're just filling in, but you still got across all the enthusiasm for everyone that you're filling in for, so I appreciate that. And there's a Shakespeare class that now it looks like we'll have some takers for when they get into high school.
Oh, well, and you know, that was Kristen Swanson. I direct the musical at North. I'm not a great lover of Shakespeare, I'll be honest and say that. I enjoy it, but it's not my passion. But Kristen Swanson is passionate about it, and it's been part of her curriculum over the years while she's been teaching. So it was wonderful for her to be able to take that, and for the kids that really were excited about it and take that. And I stuck with traditional theater, which I guess that's what Shakespeare is. So I guess maybe I took a more modern aspect of it. Anything else?
Could I just say, I will just reiterate what you said. I was so amazed of what students were able to do in that short period of time, and the parents and the audience were just so appreciative and enthusiastic as well.
They were, and that was really nice to have.
It really was, thank you.
Kids will, if you raise the bar and you encourage kids and you teach it well, they will rise to the occasion. And middle schoolers are amazingly wonderful. So I was really thankful we had such a great week with them. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Okay, next item is elementary summer school, and Dr. Scheid is going to cover this.
Thank you, Dr. Yarnell. Mr. Vogel was unable to be here tonight. He is the principal of the elementary summer school. He had a PTG meeting this evening, so I told him that I would go. I would definitely do this for him. It was another successful year of summer school, and if you take a look at the numbers, summer school was held from July 5th through July 27th for 14 days. They had improved attendance again, 88 students. They had 90 missed student days this year, down from 98 with 81 students last year. 42 of the 90 days were due to vacation, which is totally understandable. And again, this year, 81% of the students took advantage of the transportation option. 41 parents indicated that their child had shown an increased interest in the areas of instruction. This was a parent survey. When asked about summer school activities that were the most beneficial to their children, parents appreciated educational games included in summer programming. They believe that our program is a substantial benefit to their child's fundamental skills, and that the children enjoyed their time in summer school, and they did. This is so smooth and flawless. The students are enthusiastic and they're comfortable, and generally they're very happy to be there. Progress reports were sent home at midpoint and at the end of the program. Instructional goals were identified, and there were also identified ways that parents could assist their students informally with the learning that took place. 49 of our parents who returned their surveys thought that daily homework was beneficial for their students. Homework, notes home, and manipulatives provided by teachers to promote learning at home was also appreciated. For math, the parents liked the stations and step-by-step practice. They also liked Khan Academy, extra math, splash math programs that were used in the classroom. In reading, parents indicated reading comprehension and reading twister were most beneficial. They also appreciated the writing process being taught. I actually sat in a class where the students were writing, and they were doing a lot of brainstorming and conversation to get started in their writing, which I was very happy to see. The parents also liked small class sizes, opportunities for small group work, and most of the classes ran with less than 15 students. Instruction was tailored to individual needs, and homework sent home with a specific appreciation for the games that were sent home by parents again. Parents submitted the following recommendations for improvement of the program. They would prefer if we didn't combine grade levels in one class, and we did do that. They're still tailored to individual needs, but there were 2 grade levels in one class. They would like longer hours and more days of the program, additional one-on-one instruction, and they would like summer school to start earlier in the school year, and a suggestion was made for a list of activities completed daily be sent home so they could have conversations with their children about it. 22 of our parents would be unable to send their child to this program if the district did not provide transportation. 5 additional parents expressed difficulty if transportation was not provided, so I know that Mr. Vogel is seeking that continues. Some of the other comments were, my child enjoyed going, transportation to summer school was crucial as we both work, thank you for the program and the teachers. It is generally very positive, and in terms of expenditure, pretty much it breaks even, so there is not a surplus in elementary summer school. It was very, very well run. I thought that this year was exceptional. Does anybody have any questions, or?
What's the 150 students? If 88 were for this?
Total?
Yeah, but 88 you said were enrolled, right?
Let's see.
So what's this 150?
Does it go by subject?
It goes, they're just, right, it's just breaking out into how many of the students were in reading, writing, and math.
Okay.
Right, so he breaks it out and then just a
I'm sorry, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
Took me a couple
Forest for the
seconds.
trees.
In the past, we had, we would get the numbers about how many students were invited and then how many chose to attend, so we'd have the percentage, you know, just because we're always looking to increase, so. I don't know, could we look back at the past 5 years or so and see the trends in how many are attending and what percentage are accepting the invitations?
Yes, we can put that chart together and send it to you with 5 year.
I'm also wondering, is there any way to know if the students who attend summer school, you know, perform better when they get to school?
I've been asking that question for years and I can't get an answer.
Because it's difficult to track.
Difficult,
First of all,
I
they're
get
coming
it.
in with different assessments.
Yeah, I get it.
It's really a maintenance. We are trying to remediate, but it is a short amount of time. Could we see, well, we definitely could take the students who have attended, I would say, more than 1 year, and we could use different measurements, or benchmarks, or PSSAs, but I don't know that 2 weeks, or not, well, 8 days of instruction will make that impact.
Right, that's fine. I mean, and some of it's just to avoid the summer slide, right?
Exactly.
Could it be longer? Because it is very short, right? It's only a couple hours in the day.
Vacations.
Yep.
Oh, it's vacations.
I mean, if we could run it all summer, I think that would be wonderful. But, right, there are other things that the students are doing, and vacations do come into play. It's a discussion that I could sit down and talk to Mr. Bogle. I think he would have a better sense that he has these direct contacts with the parents on how many students he would get if he extended that. He could also survey parents and say, if we extended that, would you go? So certainly we could do that. Do that meaning we could survey parents to see if they actually would attend if we extended it.
I think the parents would be a good source.
I mean, it says that they have less than about 15 students per class, but it was 2 different grade levels, you were saying, in each. And so how are we tailoring the education to their specific needs when we're using 2 full grade levels? Or do we have certain assessments where we're looking at common, threads of, things that they're both struggling with? How are we doing that?
So there weren't multiple grade levels in every class, as some of the class was overloaded. To make the numbers meet with the number of teachers that we have, the number of students, that happened. But that wasn't across the board. In terms of individualizing, what it looked like was whole group instruction and then small group. Like students who were continuing to struggle on one concept, a teacher would pull them aside and work with them while the other students were doing some independent work. There wasn't a one-on-one tutorial type of learning going on that way, not typically anyway. So I guess in terms of how do they individualize, this is a small group of students in front of a teacher who has read where the student's deficiencies are. So she or he, male teacher as well, tried to design lessons to target those areas of deficiency. To be perfectly honest, it was a lot about writing and extended writing. So if I'm the teacher in the classroom and I saw this, students start to write, the teacher's circling like she would anyway, but this is a smaller group. Instead of I have 30 students, I have 15 less students, and she would be, or he would be able to kind of work side by side with those students. To the best that they can in a short period of time, the information they have, and it's not their classroom, I think they do a really nice job. Does that answer your question, or do you need more specific information?
No.
Gotcha. Yes.
So the tuition, the revenue line, is that the tuition was paid?
Yes.
And it says 87 and a half students. So do we not have any students that attend free? Like, like we have students who don't pay the computer fee. Do any students get their tuition paid by the school district?
I'll have to check with Mr. Vogel to see what the number is of students who we fund.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll send it.
I don't need the number, I was just curious, because it looked to me like they were all paying then, so then I was wondering, it's not that important, I was just curious.
So the whole thing, all of the summer school was in one building, right?
Yes, it was at North Middle.
So was there, I'm just curious too, if you had more students from that area that were more likely to come versus the ones that were from the other two schools, or I'm sorry, it was elementary, so for the other areas, or?
I can get the breakdown of how many students attended from which school, you know what, and we can look and see if there was trend, but there really hasn't been, like, all concentrated at Brass or Bedminster or Dibler.
And that might be partly because of the transportation. So
I think
since
it's solely
transportation
because
is
of
bringing
the
them in, yeah.
The transportation really has been very helpful. I would be, it would be a shame if we weren't transporting these students.
Right, I agree.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this? If not, we'll move on to the high school summer school.
And, Mr. Schoonover was unable to attend today, so I told him I would do this review. If we have any questions, I can send those to him directly if I don't have the answers. 18 students took 25 courses, 5 math, 10 science, 3 social studies, 7 English. We had 12 students from Pennsbury High School, 1 from Dock Academy, and 5 from our middle schools. 18 of the 25 18 of 25 courses were passed. 3 students that did not pass were due to not completing the assigned work in the 5 weeks that was provided to them. Parents were contacted weekly by the teachers or administrators to communicate the need to improve the pace and accuracy of the work. In terms of financials, the amount paid to teaching staff was $2,718.75. Amount of tuition collected from the families was $2,780. Pretty much break even on that. We had Mrs. Julia Grimshaw for English, Social Studies, and Science, and Mr. Alex Stump for our math and our science. And all course offerings will remain intact for 2018. Existing resources and programs will be utilized as much as possible in 2018. So this next bullet here, for the high school students in math or English classes, they're considering to offering more tutorial-based programs. So instead of having a full course that they're taking, we'd really be tailored to, this is what I haven't learned, and that's what we're trying to do. Sometimes that could be cost prohibitive, so that is what we want to do. We want to bring the students and say, yes, this is what you've already learned, this is what you need to learn, and move them through. So I just want to let you know that we are continuing to try to find resources to accomplish that. Questions? Okay, thank you.
Yes, the next one is a textbook approval. And I also don't see Ms. Cotner-Davis, so I guess
I
you
guess
will
I'm
have to
one.
try to
I'll do my best.
sell that.
I'm a little concerned because Mrs. Cotner-Davis does not miss these meetings. So I'm hoping everything is okay with her. But she did put in a request for AP Physics 1 and 2 textbook adoption. It's being submitted by Deb and her science department. The title of the book is Physics 3rd Edition. You can see the authors and the publishers. Per copy cost, $115.50 per e-text subscription, the license, which is 6 years. Deb's actually brought this to the curriculum committee in the past. She also is outlining $225.81 per bundle print text with a license for 6 years of Connect and e-text. Number of copies to be purchased, 95 ebooks, 30 bundles. The name of the program is AP Physics 1 and 2. This is coming from her program improvement budget. So this is all information that you've heard last spring for this program improvement budget. At that time, she wasn't sure which textbook she wanted to choose. So she's bringing this to the committee to let her, to share with you that this is the one that she and her staff is recommending. Thank you.
So can you, I don't know whether you know, but can you find out what the acronym ALEX stands for in the math context?
So I will find that out because the name escapes me, but we see a lot of potential in that. Mr. O'Boyle is working on using this system, and we had a short webinar, there were some complications with that. But this would be cost effective, so we really want to do further investigation. I'll let you know what that actual acronym stands for, but there is potential in that particular program. Even the summer, when I was just talking about the high school and trying to find targeted instruction through tutorials, Alex may be one way to do that as well.
Do you know if anything else used Alex? The only reason that I'm familiar with it is because my son, when he was a freshman at Penn State, I believe for his biology class, they use Alex. And it's basically for what it said, you know, your pre-prep work, and then it's used throughout the course, the entire year. Have we used it before for anything?
No, we're investigating it now, and really it's an adaptive program. So there's kind of, it's built in pre-test to see what you already know, just what we were talking about, right? And then it designs, it tailors instruction for the individual student, which is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to learn more about that, see how that works, and then use it in areas where we need it, like summer school. Thank you.
I think they also, Penn State and Texas, at least I know, they use it for the incoming freshmen. They all have to take the math assessment on ALEX. But here, when they were saying it out loud, I was thinking it was ALEX, A-L-E-X. I didn't know it was K-S. What book are they using right now? I mean, they've already started the AP Physics, or is this a different AP Physics?
No, this is the AP. This is the class that was approved through curriculum program improvement last year.
Right.
So
So I'm
yes,
just wondering what they've been working out of if she hadn't chosen it in total.
I'll find out.
And then I do appreciate you trying to tailor the summer school offering. I think that would be excellent. There, in my past experience, being able to identify the skills that they're lacking and then just target them is really where you end up seeing the growth. So if that can be done, I'd appreciate that.
Much more effective.
Absolutely, yes, thank you. We agree with you, we can to make that happen. We don't want, we know that the students, especially coming to summer high school, if they understand that, oh, okay, I just need to pick up what I didn't learn, I need to, rather than repeat, I think they are more motivated.
And it may cause them to not want to do those assignments that they've already done and understand them, and maybe take a day off.
Any other questions about the textbook improvement? Okay, if not, that'll be on our agenda for the 25th. Next is the K-5 writing pilot. This is Washam.
Hi, everybody. Pressing on always helps. Being a writer. So I'm going to go over the writing pilot that we're doing for the elementary school. The logistics of the pilot is at West Rock Hill Elementary School, and it's being done K-5. And we're actually now, I've been working with Jen Summers, we're integrating it in with learning support as well. Because we found by collaborating, working together, we're finding a lot of gaps of resources, especially for our students in learning support, with the hopes of them bridging back into the general ed classroom. And being a writer is open enough and flexible enough so the scaffolds and modifications that they would need for special ed, they can apply as well. So we actually just got kits for learning support, and they're going through the online training, and I'll be working closely with Ms. Summers on that. And that's not in here, so I wanted to let you know.
Can I just quickly say,
Yeah.
as a reminder, Mrs. Summers is our new special education supervisor for the elementary level. Just a reminder.
Sorry about that. I feel she's done such a great job that I feel like she's been here for a long time. She didn't come on just this summer. So how we ended up with being a writer as our pilot, we had the elementary literacy committee that I spoke about in the spring. The elementary literacy committee was very, very active, and we have 2 sessions that we've met looking at resources, K-2 and 3-5. So this was made up of teachers and reading specialists, special ed teachers, and a few administrators. And they looked at it, just the teachers looked at the resources, K-2, 3-5, with a general rubric that was used looking at educational supplemental resources. They looked at 3 different kinds of resources. They looked at Lucy Calkins, the revised grade level writing workshop materials. They looked at American Reading Company's writing materials, and they looked at being a writer. They were able to go through the resources, go through overview videos about them, and then also see samples of the rubrics and student work and what it looks like for using them. So the teachers met in teams and discussed each of them, went through everything. I think that their favorite part was being able to really dig through stuff and look at the videos, ask questions to say, like, how will this fit? How will this fit in what I'm currently teaching? How will this supplement what I'm doing? And how will this meet the gaps and the needs that I've seen? So after I collected everything, and the amazing Amanda helped me consolidate all my results, being a writer by far was the first choice of almost every single person on the team. The rubric scores of 4s were 3 times that of every others, and there was a lot of positive feedback about it. That it was clearly organized, it had appropriate scope and sequence, and that it was very teacher-friendly. The construct of being a writer is organized in a way that it's really easy to teach from, and it's grounded in really great literature, so they are embedded in reading about the genre of writing and then teaching it, and the teaching points are there for them. And it also has a mix of taking them through the writing process, of really having that time for them to read about a genre, brainstorm about it, draft, and then revise and publish. But it also embeds those texts, the TDAs, the text-dependent analysis that we know, that we see with our PSSA scores, and having that structured on demand, being able to take the skills you learned in a process piece and then apply that on demand is something that students typically struggle with. And this actually builds that in so that as they teach it, it goes through. So, and the other one was they really love the mentor text. I think it's also part of my favorite thing about it is that this writing program's embedded. You got about 30 mentor texts over the course of the year. So you're really engrossing them in the genre of writing that they're going to be writing themselves. And it also incorporates a lot of discussion and reading, writing response. So I sort of went through this a little bit. But really we noticed that within Reading Street, a lot of the teachers in the literacy committee felt that the writing was insufficient in components to the different genre and the grade level expectations. They found it to be a little choppy. They felt that students weren't really going through the process of writing and that they would work on something for a week and then they'd switch to something unrelated, and that students weren't really able to really build and sustain any writing that they were doing. And then also when we looked at our PSSAs, and also when we were looking at just discussion with student work amongst the teachers, conventions and stamina for producing responses to reading and published pieces was a major area of need. The reason why we were really excited about being a writer, Reading Street builds on 6+1 traits for writing as their organization of how they work with writing. Being a writer does as well, so there wasn't something completely different for how you organize your thought about teaching writing. The grounding in mentor text, which I talked about, and it also incorporates the skills and conventions throughout the writing process. So being a writer first wants them to draft and get all these ideas and collaborate and brainstorm, get all their thoughts on paper, and then they embed their grammar and conventions throughout, saying, why do we need grammar and why do we need these conventions? Because we want to relay our information more clearly. We want to be more concise with our thought. We want to elaborate and add more detail. So there's more of the why that we do the convention things other than like grammar worksheets that are isolated in that regard. And then the TDAs, after each genre, they call them performance tasks in grades 3 through 5. And the idea is that after we teach this genre, we read about it, we write about it, how do we read a short passage and then respond to that in writing using that same genre? And that really helps prepare them for PSSAs in a way that's more meaningful and connected to what they've been learning. And then also there's a very big social emotional piece with this. Being a writer is really